0-1 the moment I opened the door, dragging my roller bag behind me, I found Chloe Martin standing in the middle of the living room, a hesitant, complicated look on her face. On the couch sat Dylan Hayes, his head bowed in a perfect imitation of a victim. In his hand was an apple Chloe had just peeled for him, a single bite yet to be taken. I dropped my bag and pulled the ring box from my pocket, placing it on the entryway table. "You're back sooner than I expected," Chloe said, her voice thin. She wouldn't meet my eyes. "Didn't want to get in the way of your reunion." I stood my ground, my gaze drifting down to her flat stomach. "How many months?" Her expression flickered, but she forced herself to answer. "A little over 2. I let out a short, sharp laugh. 2. She finally looked at me, her eyes darting nervously. "Twins. The doctor said they're developing perfectly." At that, Dylan looked up, his voice dripping with that uniquely gentle emptiness he had perfected. "Leo, I'm sorry. This wasn't planned. I haven't been in a good place, and Chloe was just trying to—" I held up a hand, cutting him off. "Don't bother explaining. I wish the 4 of you a happy life together. I'll get out of your way." Her voice was a low, frantic whisper. "Leo, what are you talking about?" I laughed. "Am I being dramatic? You're pregnant with another man's children, and you're coddling your old flame in my house. All I did was wish you well, and you can't handle it." "Dylan, he has depression," she shot back, her voice jumping an octave. "You have no idea how much he's suffered these past few years. He tried to kill himself, Leo. I saved him. He needs someone with him. He doesn't want to be alone. He needs these kids with him. What's so wrong with that? So you decided to be the mother of his children?" She was silent for a few seconds before continuing. "I'm not an irresponsible person. I'm going to have the babies, but I'm not giving up on you either. Leo, can't you just try to understand? The most important thing right now is to get Dylan's emotional state stabilized." I sneered. "I should understand? Then what was our engagement? A joke." She panicked. "Don't be like this, please. I'll do anything you want, just don't call off the engagement." "It's off," I said, my voice ice cold. "I'm done being dramatic." Now she was truly frantic. "Leo Vance, I'm telling you, I didn't cheat on you. What Dylan and I have is an emotional connection. With you, I have feelings for you, Leo. Please don't be so impulsive." "Feelings? Chloe, I was with you for 4 years. I drove you to the hospital, took care of your dad, helped you pay off your student loans, and now you're telling me you're having an emotional connection with your ex? Fina, you two can connect all you want." Dylan stood up then, blocking my path and putting on a sincere expression. "Leo, don't misunderstand her. That's not what she meant. If you really leave, she'll regret it." I stared at his sanctimonious face, and a line from his recent Instagram post flashed in my mind. "May they grow up healthy and strong. Thank you for being willing to walk this path with me. You know what I admire most about you, Dylan?" I said with a slight smile. "You have absolutely no shame." He blinked, a flicker of annoyance crossing his face. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means, I hope you and the mother of your children grow old together." I shoved him aside, grabbed my bag, and walked out of the apartment I had furnished myself, without a single look back. As the elevator doors closed, I saw Chloe burst out of the apartment, chasing after me like a wounded animal in high heels. But it was too late. From this day on, the only person I was making room for in my life was myself. 02 after leaving that apartment, I sat in a 7-Eleven near the Metro rail station and drank a cold beer. It was 2 a.m. The streetlights cast a lonely glow, the silence broken only by the occasional sound of a car speeding through the night. I'd left the engagement ring on the entryway table. Chloe said the kids would be there to walk the path with Dylan, right? So I abdicated, leaving the stage to their perfect little family of 4. I pulled out my phone and logged into a different WhatsApp account, one Chloe had never seen. At the top of the chat list was a single name, Jake Simmons. I sent 2 words, "It's time." 10 seconds later, he replied, "Man, I've been waiting for you to say that." I stood up, tossed the rest of the beer in the trash, and walked out into the darkness, pulling my suitcase behind me. 3 years ago, I was an analyst at a brokerage firm making 80 grand a year. Chloe thought I lacked ambition, constantly nagging me to get more certifications, work overtime, and suck up to my boss. She didn't know that I'd already made my first million trading stocks on the side. She also didn't know that I was the silent advisory partner at an investment platform called Deep Horizon Capital. And no one knew that I was the one who founded it. I wasn't in a rush to reveal my hand back then. I wanted to see if anyone could recognize my actual value, not just the numbers in my bank account. Chloe gave me my answer. No one could. I went back to the small loft I was renting on the south side. The space wasn't huge, but it was clean and organized. On the desk was a copy of the Angel Round funding agreement I had just signed. $5 million for a 15% stake in my new company. The platform was called Clarity Capital. It was a project I'd been incubating for the last 6 months, focused on matching retail investors with institutional-grade research, using an AI algorithm to optimize asset allocation. To put it simply, I was using tech to demystify investing and help regular people make money safely. I opened the admin dashboard. The numbers were good. Registered users had quintupled in the last 3 days, and our user retention rate was exceeding projections. But this was just the beginning. The next day, I met up with Jake. He slid into the booth at the coffee shop, holding a folder, his voice trembling with excitement. Guess how many research firms have applied to integrate with our platform? I didn't guess. I just opened the folder. 36, and that includes 7 tier 1 investment banks. We've also got 2 publicly traded companies that want to invest. I nodded. Calm down. We're still in the beta phase. He looked confused. Our numbers are insane. Why not raise another round while we're hot? I stared out the window. I want strategic partners, not dumb money. I paused, and I don't want Chloe or Dylan to know I've made it. Jake's expression shifted to understanding. Got it. We stay under the radar. That night, I went back to my place to work on optimizing our strategy. At 1 a.m., my phone rang. It was my mom. Honey, are you and Chloe fighting? She just called me. Said you blocked her number? She was crying pretty hard. I took a deep breath. Mom, I said calmly, we broke up. Broke up? What do you mean? You're engaged. She's such a nice girl. Did you misunderstand something? She's pregnant with Dylan's kids. Twins. She said he has depression and needs someone with him. Needs the kids. The other end of the line was silent for several seconds. What did you say? Honey, don't joke like that. I'm not joking, Mom. I'm doing fine now. You don't need to worry about me. Then why was she crying? She said she was just trying to take care of someone. Mom, when a person's heart is gone, it's gone. She made her choice. I respect it. I hung up. I hadn't even put the phone down before a text from Chloe came through. She must have used a different number. My mom says you're being cold-blooded. Did someone get in your head? Can you please just think clearly? I didn't reply. Another one came through. Dylan just took his meds and went to sleep. It's exhausting taking care of him by myself. Do you have any idea how much I need you right now? I finally replied with 4 words. Get out of my world. She didn't text back. 3 days later, Clarity Capital launched its public beta. We broke 100,000 signups on the first day. The backend server crashed for a bit. At 11 p.m., I got a call from my first potential strategic investor. It was the vice president from the brokerage firm where I did my internship years ago. Leo, you remember me, right? I heard this new project of yours is making serious waves. Have you considered sitting down with us? I smiled. We can talk, but I'm not interested in a traditional investment model. Of course. A man of your stature isn't someone old-timers like us can give advice to anymore. In that moment, I truly realized it. I had shed that old skin, the life of a corporate drone. Later that night, I was scrolling through my Instagram feed. A post from one of Chloe's best friends. The photo showed Chloe sitting in a hospital hallway, her face pale, clutching a medical report. The caption, Chloe is going through so much, having to shoulder all of this alone. Please stop attacking her. I clicked into the comments. Some people said she got what she deserved. Others called Dylan a toxic menace. But most were sarcastic. A single mom with twins on the way? Is her brain depressed too? I didn't leave a comment. I just silently liked one. Stop with the virtue signaling. And don't treat people like your backup plan. I leaned back in my chair, watching the city lights flicker in the night. Chloe said I was being dramatic, but only when I truly stopped paying her any attention did she start to panic. And my own journey was just getting started. Now that I was gone, the wind was finally in my back. 03 Chloe's face was drawn and pale when she got back from the hospital. It was the 3rd prenatal appointment she had gone to alone. Dylan hadn't come with her. He hadn't even asked about it. She dropped the ultrasound pictures on the coffee table, kicked off her heels, and sank onto the couch, staring at the man sprawled on the other side. Dylan, the doctor said my blood pressure is high. She told me not to get too stressed. Could you please stop sitting here playing video games all day? Dylan, headphones on, was deep into a game of Call of Duty. Mobile. No, don't push there, you idiot. Do you even know how to play support? Chloe's eye twitched. She walked over and yanked his headphones off. He looked up, annoyed. What the hell? Can't you see I'm in the middle of a game? Chloe's voice was low and tight. Could you try to be an adult? You're not just responsible for yourself anymore. It's the three of us now, and 2 babies. You need to take some responsibility. Dylan threw his phone onto the couch cushion. His face held no remorse, only irritation. Chloe, do you have any idea how much pressure I'm under? My doctor said I can't handle any stress. What if I have another episode? You saying this stuff is just pushing me. Dylan, are you sick? Or are you just lazy? Chloe gritted out. What did you say? His expression shifted instantly, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. Chloe instinctively took a half step back but held her ground. I asked if you're actually depressed, or if you're just using it as an excuse. Have you even thought about the fact that you're about to be a father? Dylan scoffed. A father? Why don't you go ask Leo Vance to be the father? I'm not the kind of guy who sacrifices his freedom. Then whose babies am I carrying? The question was like a knife, shattering the last of her illusions. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Dylan kept going. Honestly, looking at you like this, I don't feel anything. It's not like I'm forcing you to have them. If you can't handle it, just get an abortion. You're not my wife. You don't owe me anything. Chloe's eyes widened in disbelief. She suddenly realized that for Dylan, the word children had never been connected to responsibility. To him, these 2 babies were nothing more than emotional support tools, playthings, proof that he wasn't alone. That night, she lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Her phone screen lit up and dimmed, the familiar name in her contacts list now grayed out. She tried adding Leo back from a burner account, but was rejected instantly. She tried calling his mother, but the call was declined 3 times in a row. It was only then that she understood. Leo was never coming back. And she had truly lost everything. The next morning, Dylan was still asleep. Chloe put on a loose sweatshirt and went to her best friend Sarah's place, someone she'd known since college. Sarah handed her a glass of milk, her brow furrowed. You look terrible. What's wrong? Didn't sleep well. Chloe leaned against the sofa and rested a hand on her stomach. Sarah hesitated before speaking. I saw something about Leo yesterday. It looks like he launched some kind of fintech platform. Clarity something. Chloe froze. He's still in finance? It's not that he's still in it. He's killing it. Just Google it yourself. Chloe opened her phone. A quick search for Clarity Capital brought up a flood of positive press. Young founder's 3 years in stealth mode culminates in AI investment product with over 1 million users. Startup valuation triples in 3 days as VCs scramble for a piece. One feature article even had a photo. Leo, dressed in a sharp slate blue suit, stood on a stage, presenting a funding model. He looked confident, sharp, his gaze steady and commanding. She stared at the photo for a long time, her head buzzing. Sarah added softly, you know, people online are digging up that old comment he left on Dylan's post. The wish the 4 of you a happy life together one. They're calling it the prophetic breakup. Chloe's eyelid twitched violently. She suddenly remembered the day Leo walked out with his suitcase, how he never even looked back. She was the one who had kicked a dragon out of her home. She picked up her phone and clicked on Leo's profile again, still blocked. Gritting her teeth, she worked up the courage to send a text message. Leo, I was so wrong. Dylan isn't what you think. We were just. Things were a mess. He's trying to be better. Can we please meet and talk? 10 minutes later, the message showed as delivered, but there was no reply. That evening, when Chloe got back from Sarah's, she found Dylan on the couch again, on a voice call with some random girl. Your voice is so healing. It's better than my therapist. I've pretty much handled things with Chloe, so don't worry. Chloe stood frozen in the doorway, unable to speak. Dylan hadn't seen her. He continued, besides, it's not like she can cause a scene. With 2 kids in her belly, where's she gonna go? Chloe's breath caught in her throat. The next second, she stormed into the room and slapped Dylan across the face. You bastard. Dylan, stunned, grabbed his phone and yelled, Are you crazy? Chloe, you're carrying my children. You need to be responsible for your actions. Chloe's hands were trembling. a bitter laugh escaping her lips. Responsible? You remember you're the father now. Don't think I haven't seen your chat history. I've seen everything. Dylan's eyes went cold, his voice low and menacing. Don't push me, Chloe. You know I have a temper. A chill ran down her spine. She took a step back, clutching her stomach, her voice shaking. You touch me, I dare you. Dylan just scoffed, threw his phone on the floor, and stalked into the bedroom. Stay or go, I don't care. In that moment, Chloe's mind flashed back to all the times Leo had gone with her to the hospital, waited for her late at night after work, and shielded her from her own emotionally volatile parents. Her heart ached as if it were being sliced apart. And at that very moment, the man she had called dramatic was far beyond her world, flying higher and higher, further and further away. Leo, you're the keynote speaker at today's summit. I took the file from my assistant, glanced at the agenda, and nodded. It was the annual FinTech Industry Summit, a gathering of dozens of top-tier investment banks, private equity funds, and AI unicorns. A company like mine, barely 6 months old with a valuation that just crossed $1 billion, normally wouldn't get the main slot. But they insisted. There was only one reason. Clarity Capital's numbers were too good to ignore. Our user growth curve had trended on Twitter. Our investment return algorithm was being used as a case study by several universities. Most importantly, we had already turned down acquisition offers from 3 major institutions, causing our standalone valuation to triple overnight. Stepping onto this stage, I didn't need to be humble, and I no longer needed to hide. I walked into the spotlight wearing a charcoal gray suit and scanned the audience. Many recognized me, whispering among themselves, "Is that him? Leo Vance? The founder of Clarity Capital. He looks so young. I can't believe he's the one who produced those numbers." My opening line silenced the entire room. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past 6 months, you've all seen plenty of viral startups. But I'm here to tell you, most of them are faking it. The only true disruptor is a financial product that actually makes money for ordinary people. In my 30-minute speech, I focused on 2 core principles: trust and transparency. The talk ended with a round of applause. When I stepped off the stage, 7 or 8 venture capital partners were waiting in the wings to hand me their business cards. I accepted them with a nod, but said little. That evening, Bloomberg released a video of the event. A new hashtag quickly began to trend. Hashtag prophetic breakup, CEO revealed. The word prophetic sent internet sleuths scrambling to find the original comment. I wish the 4 of you a happy life together. I'll get out of your way. A breakup announcement that was so calm and cutting, when contrasted with my current business success, created a stunning narrative. Within hours, that comment was screenshotted and reposted by countless lifestyle bloggers and finance influencers. The consensus was clear. You thought he was making an exit, but he was actually ascending to the throne. The most ruthless people don't scream and shout. They just quietly erase you from their lives. Chloe Martin, you didn't just lose a man. You lost an entire era. And on the other side of the city, Chloe was sitting on her couch, her face ashen as she scrolled through her phone. Dylan was curled up in a corner with his headphones on, lost in his game, completely oblivious to her expression. Chloe played the video, watching me on stage, my gaze certain as I spoke with effortless charisma. Her eyes turned red, her fingernails digging into her phone case. She was only now realizing that the unambitious corporate drone she had looked down on had become a major player capable of shaping industry trends. She finally understood that Leo's silence hadn't been weakness. It had been patience. And she, Chloe Martin, had traded a man who would stick by her for 4 years for Dylan, a man who couldn't even be bothered to go to a prenatal appointment and treated her like a tool. The next morning, Chloe drove to the Clarity Capital headquarters. She wore her most professional outfit, put on flawless makeup, and even wore the watch Leo had given her years ago. The receptionist at the front desk was polite but distant. "Ma'am, do you have an appointment?" "I'm here to see Leo Vance." He knows me." The receptionist checked the schedule and shook her head. "I'm sorry, Mr. Vance is in back-to-back meetings all day. Without an appointment, I can't let you up. Can you just tell him that Chloe Martin is here? I'm his. I was his fiancé." The receptionist gave her a quick glance, then disappeared into a back office. She returned 2 minutes later, her expression unchanged. Mr. Vance says he doesn't see people from his past. He asked you to leave. The color drained from Chloe's face. She stood frozen in the lobby. Unwilling to give up, she pulled an ultrasound photo from her purse and held it out. Then tell him I'm having twins. He remembers, right? He used to say he loved kids. The receptionist didn't take the photo. She simply said, Mr. Vance is no longer interested in anyone's past. Chloe felt as if a bucket of ice water had been dumped over her head. She turned and walked out of the building, barely holding back tears. Standing on the bustling street of the downtown tech corridor, staring up at the building the media was calling the new hub of capital, she finally understood the meaning of the phrase. The person you once disdained is now completely out of your league. That night, I got a call from her friend, Sarah. Her voice was cautious. Leo, Chloe came by your office today. She was in a really bad state when she got home. Are you really not going to give her a chance? I kept it short. She used up all her chances. Sarah sighed. She said you've changed, that you've become cold-blooded. I laughed. I just see people clearly now. After hanging up, I went back to reviewing the day's meeting summaries. The finance department's numbers were stellar. The tech team was about to complete an algorithm upgrade, and our next funding round was already targeting a $3 billion valuation. No one knew that this version of me existed. This was the man Chloe had never bothered to see. And now it was too late. Late that night, I sat alone in my office, gazing at the sea of neon lights outside the floor-to-ceiling windows. For a brief moment, an image of her flashed in my mind, hanging laundry on the balcony. The look in her eyes the first time she said, I believe in you. The cold, selfish expression on her face when she told me Dylan needed her. I let out a self-deprecating laugh. She believed in me when I was useful to her. She stopped believing when she thought Dylan was a better investment. That wasn't love. It was a calculation. From now on, no matter how much she regretted it, she would never get another chance. I had gone from being the one who was abandoned to the one who was out of their league, and she would forever be stuck in that picture under the caption, I wish the four of you a happy life together. Like a joke. 05 Leo, that proposal is from Robert Hayes of Hayes Industries. My assistant handed me an encrypted phone as I walked into the conference room on Friday morning. I took it with a nod. Dylan's uncle? Yes. He says he wants to discuss a partnership. I smiled faintly and put the phone on speaker. Leo Vance, this is Robert Hayes. The voice on the other end was steady and polite. We've been watching Clarity for a while. I'd like to schedule a meeting to discuss potential strategic synergies. I leaned back in my chair, my tone casual. A partnership is something we can discuss. But there's one thing I need to make clear up front. Please go ahead. My business has nothing to do with your nephew, Dylan. Any potential collaboration will be based solely on commercial value. Robert Hayes was silent for 2 seconds, then replied smoothly. Understood. That boy of ours. I'm not his biggest fan either. I smirked. Robert was an old fox. He had long ago written Dylan off as a lost cause and was now trying to pull me, the new rising star, into his family's sphere of influence. Too bad I wasn't playing his game. Here's what we'll do, I said, walking to the window to look out over the city. You send over a concrete proposal. My risk management team will evaluate it on Monday. Excellent. You're a decisive man, Leo. We'll be in touch. After the call, Jake looked up, exasperated. Dylan is going to lose his mind. You break up with his girlfriend, and his own family immediately tries to recruit you. Does he even matter? I said coldly. Speaking of which, Jake hesitated. Chloe came by again. She said the kids can take your last name if you will just agree to meet with her one time. I frowned. What is she still trying to do? She looks completely broken. I heard something happen with Dylan. What happened? 3 different women came forward, accusing him of fraud, emotional abuse, PUA, and manipulation. Your ex-fiancé got dragged into it and is trending on Twitter too. I paused, then pulled out my phone and opened Twitter. The #1 trending topic, hashtag Dylan Hayes exposed. It's not depression, it's abuse. I clicked on it. The thread was a long series of accusations, with clear timelines and damning evidence. One woman had even included a voice recording of Dylan threatening her. If you go to the police, I'll kill myself right in front of you, and you'll have to live with that for the rest of your life. The comments section had exploded. This guy is pure scum. Isn't Chloe Martin his current girlfriend? What's she going to do now that she's pregnant? He can dish it out, but he can't take it. The irony was thick. Just last month, Chloe had been posting couple photos all over her Instagram. Now, they were all being screenshotted and used as evidence of her poor judgment in a viral thread. I closed the app without a word. That afternoon, a text from Chloe arrived. It wasn't a soft plea or a demand. It was a desperate beg. Leo, I'm begging you. If you just make one public statement saying, I wasn't the other woman, I'll do anything you ask. I didn't reply. A moment later, another one came through. The police took Dylan in for questioning. I'm all alone. I can't handle this. The doctor said my stress levels could affect the babies. Can you at least still be my friend? I thought for a moment, then typed back. Chloe, you drastically overestimate your importance in my life. Her call came almost immediately. I wasn't going to answer, but on second thought, I accepted it. Hello. Her voice was low and hoarse, on the verge of tears. I know you hate me, but I had no idea Dylan was like this. I was conned. You were conned. I cut her off. You were carrying his children, living in the apartment I paid for, using the furniture I bought for us, and you're telling me you were a passive victim? I never spent your money. Don't be so quick to absolve yourself, I said, my voice as sharp as a razor. You blew up our engagement to play savior for him. Now that his image has imploded, you come running back to me to clean up your mess? Chloe, from start to finish, the only person you've ever cared about is yourself. I heard a sharp intake of breath on the other end, the sound of someone trying not to sob. I continued, but I, Leo Vance, am not your emotional dumping ground. Do you really have no feelings left for our past? She asked, her voice trembling. I do, I said, lighting a cigarette. I spent 4 years dwelling on it. I'm done. I hung up, blocked her number, and closed that door for good. That evening, Clarity Capital held a pre-IPO internal meeting. The head of our data team reported, user engagement is at 65%, investment conversion rates have hit 12%, and the market response is overwhelming. We have 3 major funds in a bidding war. I made the call, locking the lead underwriter within 3 days. We're not waiting. We're moving up the IPO. The room erupted in applause. From a man dumped for being unambitious to standing at the crest of a new wave in finance. It had only taken me 6 months. It wasn't that I had suddenly become stronger. The strength was always there. It's just that no one had ever believed it. The next morning, the headlines were everywhere. Dylan Hayes detained. Allegations include fraud, extortion, and illegal fundraising. Chloe Martin responds, I'm also a victim. The man once called her one that got away. Now a public disgrace. Leo Vance's prophetic comment goes viral as breakup prediction comes true. Chloe had become a pariah. Screenshots of her old Instagram posts were contrasted with my one cold comment, I'll get out of your way, which was now hailed as legendary. This is like something out of a novel. Leo Vance is a prophet. The hero gets his comeback. The villain gets her downfall. A perfect ending. That afternoon, my mother called from my hometown, her voice bursting with pride. Son, you're a real success now. I saw your interview on TV the other day at the market. All the neighbors gathered around to watch. They said I raised a financial genius. I laughed and exchanged a few pleasantries, but my eyes fell on an old photograph on my desk. It was a picture I had secretly taken of Chloe when we first moved into our old apartment. She was smiling, a genuine smile, free of calculations and old flames. A shame it couldn't last. Not that I wanted it to anymore. I stood at the window, watching the massive digital billboard across the street play the new brand commercial I had just filmed. The tagline read, Life moves forward. It doesn't wait, and it doesn't look back. That's right. I was no longer the man who would swallow his pride for her, the one who would stand by silently while she said, Dylan needs me. I was now the man countless others looked up to. She was still on her knees, begging for a reunion. I was already in the clouds. 06 Leo. ABC Ventures has confirmed for the Series B. Leo, the media wants to schedule the interview for right after the bell-ringing ceremony. Leo, NASDAQ has sent over the official confirmation letter. I stood before the floor-to-ceiling window, listening to my department heads report one after another. I hadn't even touched my coffee, but I was buzzing with energy. Outside, the sky was clear and high. The sunlight from 10,000 feet up streamed onto my desk, clean, direct, and unobstructed. This was the view from the top, looking down on the entire city. And I was at the very peak, literally and figuratively in the clouds. It had been half a month since Dylan's arrest and Chloe's complete social implosion. During that time, my schedule had been relentless. Clarity Capital Series B round was fast-tracked, with 3 major VCs in a bidding war that pushed our valuation past $5 billion. CNBC sent a formal invitation for me to be featured on their Young Innovators segment. 2 overseas banks extended offers to co-develop a digital investment platform for the Asia-Pacific market. I knew that all of this stemmed from those 4 years of silent, patient work, and it stemmed from my decisive choice to walk away. On the day of the TV interview, I wore that same slate blue suit and stood before the cameras. The host was a sharp, savvy financial journalist with a polished smile and even sharper questions. Leo, what do you think it was that allowed you to push forward when so many others in your generation are choosing to coast? I thought for a moment. I wasn't pushing against the current. I just refused to drown. Many people are saying that your now famous Instagram comment, "I wish the 4 of you a happy life together," was the turning point in your life. Do you agree? I smiled slightly. The night the interview aired, the online comments sections exploded. That line is everything. A message for anyone who has ever been emotionally manipulated. So rational and restrained. That's what makes it so powerful. This man's clarity just makes Chloe's actions look even more ridiculous. One social media account even clipped that segment. "I wish her well, but I don't forgive her," set it to dramatic music, and posted it on TikTok, where it got over 10 million views. And that night, Chloe saw the video. She threw her phone on the floor, tears streaming down her face. The man who, in her eyes, had been a nobody with no connections, was now a celebrated entrepreneur, lauded by the media and pursued by capital. She realized that she had, in all likelihood, personally pushed away the best thing that would ever happen to her. I thought she would have the decency to disappear completely. But 3 days later, she went to my mother. My mom's voice was strained over the phone. "Son, Chloe is here. She's 8 months pregnant now. She's kneeling on our doorstep, saying she just wants you to see the baby on the day it's born, that she doesn't want anything else." I laughed coldly. She knows what not wanting anything else means now. I know she treated you badly, but the babies are innocent. So she's using them as a shield? I paused, taking a breath to calm myself. "Mom, I'm not touching those kids, and I'm not taking any responsibility. My relationship with her is over. Completely. I know you see things clearly, son. I support you." I hung up, my expression hardening. "Chloe, did you really think showing up with an 8-month belly and putting on a show would whitewash everything? Unfortunately for you, I operate in the world of capital now, not as a backup plan in your world of emotions." On the day of the IPO, I stood on the balcony at the NASDAQ market site and struck the opening bell. The flash of cameras was like an avalanche of light. I was surrounded by my executive team and our strategic investors. No Chloe, no Dylan, no one from my past. At the press conference that followed, a reporter asked, "Mr. Vance, on this momentous day, is there anything you'd like to say to your past self?" I smiled. "Thank you for walking away and not wasting any more time." The room applauded. Backstage, a staff member discreetly handed me a letter. "Mr. Vance, someone asked me to give this to you." I opened it. Inside was a hospital sonogram and a short note. "Leo, today is your big day, and it's also the day my children were born. I don't dare hope you'll come back, but I hope that if you ever think of us in the future, you'll know that I am truly sorry." It was signed with 2 letters, C.M. I read it, folded it neatly, and handed it to my assistant. "Send it back. Tell her I received it, but I don't have time to respond." "Yes, sir." I turned and walked back into the crowd. "Chloe, you can beg for a reunion now, but I'm already sitting in the clouds." That night, I took my mother to dinner at a private club. Seeing me hold a glass of red wine, the smile lines around her eyes crinkled with joy. "Tell me, Mom," I asked, "did you used to think I wasn't good enough for her?" "Don't talk about that mess. Now the whole town knows you're my son. As for Chloe, from now on, she'll only ever see you on TV." I took a sip of wine and smiled without a word. None of this was a miracle. It was the result of 4 years of patience and 1 year of relentless drive. The cruelest form of revenge isn't making the other person regret it. It's moving on so completely that you're not even there waiting for them anymore. And she was still back there, kneeling. The moment the plane took off, the city lights below melted into a river of gold, stretching further and further away before finally being swallowed by the clouds. I leaned back in the plush first-class seat and closed my eyes. Beside me, I could hear my mother's cheerful voice talking to the flight attendant. My son is finally taking me on a trip abroad. He said he's going to show me the world before we go back. She was beaming, as happy as a child who'd just been given candy. And I, at long last, could smile too. The day Clarity Capital went public, our market cap soared past 10 billion. The lead underwriter personally called me the new anchor of the fintech world. I didn't argue. I knew that from the moment I put that engagement ring down, I was no longer someone who needed to explain, to please, or to prove myself. Now, my success spoke for itself, silencing everyone else, including Chloe. After the babies were born, she tried to contact me, but my mother intercepted her calls. She still managed to mail a photo of one of the infants with a note. "I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to see if he looks like you." I glanced at it once before feeding it into the shredder. Whether he looked like me or not was irrelevant. I was already gone when she was pregnant. I was already in the clouds when she was begging for a reunion. And now she was looking for a resemblance to me, when she was the one who chose someone else. That was her choice. I wouldn't judge it, but I wouldn't pay for it either. I'm not heartless. I just finally understood a fundamental truth. Relationships aren't about logic. They're about choices. She chose Dylan, so she had to live with the consequences of Dylan. I chose to leave, and that's what led to the triumph that was mine and mine alone. Before leaving the country, I stood on the rooftop of my office building one last time, looking out at the city I had conquered. The night breeze was gentle, clearing my mind. Jake stood beside me, holding out a new corporate org chart. "Are you really going to be hands-off for 6 months? The overseas division just launched. They still need your direction." I smiled. "The strategic direction is set. You can handle the rest." He shook his head in disbelief. "You really know how to let go. Anyone else would be milking this, ringing every bell they could. But you just walk away. I don't need more money, and I don't need more applause," I said, stuffing my hands in my pockets and watching the lights. "What I need is freedom. And Chloe, don't bring her up again, right?" Jake nodded, saying no more. By the time the plane landed in Dubai, my mother was fast asleep. I opened my tablet and saw that Clarity Capital was trending again. The headline read, "Leo Vance steps back as Clarity enters new era of automated growth. Industry insiders call him a rational genius." I didn't click on it. A flight attendant approached. "Mr. Vance, welcome. Would you like me to arrange for your private transport?" I nodded. "Please." Walking off the jet bridge, I put on my sunglasses, my stride confident and unhurried. No one knew that inside my carry-on was the engagement ring I had left behind. I kept it for one reason, to remind myself that I had once almost entrusted my life to the wrong person. And because of that, I would never ever go back. A few days later, I was settled into the top-floor suite of the Burj Al Arab. I woke early, brewed a pot of tea, and stood by the window, watching the golden light dance on the surface of the sea. My phone buzzed with an email notification. An old colleague had forwarded me a link to an online article. The title, "To the Man I Pushed Away." The author was listed as C.M. It was a short, 2,000-word essay about how a woman went from being cherished to being universally despised, how she single-handedly destroyed her own life, and how she was drowning in regret. The final line read, "If there is a next life, I hope he never has to meet someone like me." I didn't finish it. I just closed the tab. This wasn't remorse. It was another performance, an attempt to rebrand her narrative with tragedy. Even Chloe's regret felt insincere. As dusk fell, I sat on the balcony, swirling a glass of red wine. I took out the ring, stared at it for a moment, then lifted my hand and dropped it into the glass. It landed with a soft clink, just like that chapter of my life, now sealed away, never to be spoken of again. I watched it lie there, steady at the bottom of the glass, and suddenly I smiled. I had stepped aside for her, bowed my head, endured her insults, and bled for her. But I didn't break. I came back sharper. She said I was being dramatic, so I chose to be ruthlessly rational and cut everyone out. I had once planned my entire future around her. Now, I've traded that future for a world of my own.